When he came out last night, Vivek, and said that January 6th was a setup, I cheered. I don't know if anybody heard. I cheered for that. I really wanted to boo for Chris Christie when he gets out there and spouts off the Democrat talking points. I'll talk about Chris Christie afterwards. When he came out, Vivek, and said Jan 6 was a setup. Well, you knew it was going to blow some people's minds. And Dana Bash, she's not stupid. None of these people are stupid. Some of them might be stupid. It's impossible to be this stupid. Dana Bash is not stupid. She's a mouthpiece. And she might actually be a very smart mouthpiece because they have to look stupid while they're doing it so that nobody can attribute ill intent to them. Listen to this. It's a thing of absolute beauty. And just so you know, by the way, I'm not paid by Vivek. I'll never take money from a politician. And there's no but to that. I think Trump has to be, will be the nominee and has to be and will be the next president. Again, full stop. I'm not supporting Vivek's candidacy for president, but if Trump weren't in the picture... So there's no partisan favoritism here. I actually probably started off in a totally different perspective than I'm at now. Vivek is the only one making these points loud and clear, and I think DeSantis, to his credit, a little late to the game, is finally understanding I should be saying some of these things that Vivek is saying. And I think last night he did say some of them. But listen to this.
Let's start with January 6th.
Sure.
There is no evidence that it is an inside job. It was a fringe conspiracy theory that the Trump-appointed FBI director, Christopher Wray, has said explicitly over and over is just not true.
So
there's no evidence whatsoever that it was an inside job. Dana Bash, if you're watching this, how stupid or dishonest, choking my words, can you possibly be? No evidence? Well, let's actually back all of this up a little bit. Dana, what do you understand by the term setup? Do you think the term setup means that everyone who was breaking windows was a federal agent? Do you think the term setup means that everyone who did violence that day was a paid agent provocateur? No. Do you think, does setup to you mean that it was all fake and fabricated from the beginning? No. A Lee hop let it happen on purpose, or a me hop made it happen on purpose, is a setup. It's an organic way of setting it up. Oh, well, I left my front door unlocked and someone broke into my house because I had just done a video about how I got, I don't know, new speakers. I got a Rolex, a perpetual, and then I happened to just, post a picture of my house, leave the front door open. Well, someone came and stole it. That's a setup. So a criminal actually came and stole the watch, but it's a setup. No evidence that this was a setup? Oh, we'll get there. But let's let Vivek try to set Dana Bash straight, but you can't set the dishonest straight.
I appreciate the opportunity to address it. I was an anti-woke crusader leaving the business world, and if you had asked me 3 years ago, is there some chance January 6th is an inside job? I would have said that was crazy talk. I would say, looking at the facts of the video footage that have come out, Dana, it is shocking that you still haven't gotten a clear answer of how many federal agents were in the field that day.
I'm just going to say, Vivek he's too late to this, but I mean, I'm glad to hear it. But he's late, but it's good nonetheless.
Look at now.
You cannot fault people for being late to the revelation, because people can fault me for that as well.
Now the video footage of actually throwing explosives and rubber bullets into what was a peaceful crowd, then releasing to the public what came in response to that. But now look at the video footage that was released, and I'm glad we're talking about it because viewers deserve to look at that footage. Capitol Police literally letting people in who were then now prosecuted. Some of them have gone on to commit suicide because of what the government's doing.
Because of terrorist enhancement charges that they want to bring to these people.
Case of entrapment. And I think the government has not been transparent about this, which is why I then brought up another case where the government, now 20 years later, with declassified documents, told us that they lied to us at the time. And so I do think we have a government that's consistently lied to its people.
Listen, inside jobs.
Listen to Dana Bash's utter stupidity here, but it's dishonesty, not stupidity. Oh, because a lot of people were arrested and convicted.
Just that everybody was who attacked the Capitol was part of
that. I didn't say that, but I was saying
nobody said that, Dana, because that's a stupid thing to say. But you get protesters there, legit bona fide protesters who are upset with their country, but peaceful. And then you fire some tear gas, some concussive grenades. You just blast someone in the face with a rubber bullet, it goes through their cheek and blasts their cheek juice all over the place. Oh, well, that could turn a peaceful protest very violent. You moron. Couple that with the fact that you didn't call in the National Guard, even though you knew that this was going to happen, that you were understaffed because of COVID, even though what was his name? Yogananda Pittman knew that this was in the works. The FBI knew that this was in the works. How the hell do you think that they got seditious conspiracy convictions of the Oath Keepers and the Proud Boys from having infiltrated them for months before? And then they say we didn't know anything was going to happen. We were totally caught with our pants down. That's a setup, Dana. But let's let Vivek talk about this.
That there's entrapment going on. There's entrapment going on, and this looks like a case of entrapment. And if you look at even over the last day...
What do you mean by entrapment?
Entrapment means that the police goaded people to do something than they otherwise wouldn't have done, and then they arrest them for actually doing it.
And you don't think...
What do you mean by entrapment? But for the actions of the... This might not be the right word for January 6th, except maybe with respect to the seditious conspiracy of the Oath Keepers and the Proud Boys. But for the involvement of the FBI, they might have never done that.
Actually, the former president who was
well, I think that was the media narrative. Now look at actually
we
hard
heard
case.
Him, we heard him with our own ears.
Well, we heard the former president with our own ears, peacefully, patriotically. We are on the side of the blue, of law and order. What world are you living in, Dana? Nobody's this stupid, because stupid people don't have maybe I don't know. Liar. Dana Bash is a liar.
What you think about this, right? You guys said this for a long time about the Gretchen Whitmer kidnapping plot. Suddenly gone silent after it comes out at trial that absolutely that was a case of entrapment, which is why 2 of those people were acquitted. So I'm saying this as somebody who, on the other side of this, as a biotech CEO, somebody who was even anti-woke, but if I was looking at this, I would have said a lot of this is crazy talk. But if you actually get into the details, I think it is startling how much the government has systematically lied. And I think it's both parties over the course of the last 25 years.
But on the
left used to be better at pointing this out.
Look at her try to insist the lie is true. Look at her. Vivek, I'm telling you, why aren't you believing me?
But now it's the right.
Which is the most aggressive, offensive attack.
It was the most aggressive, offensive attack
on the U.S. Capitol, on democracy itself.
On democracy itself. What? Maybe she is stupid. I mean, maybe nobody can be this much of a liar. Dana, which one is it? Are you stupid or are you a liar? Please let me know.
We have seen in our lifetime and in many, many lifetimes.
In many, did you forget about the Summer of Love? The burning of the police station, the courthouse? Oh my God. Yeah, no, it wasn't, Dana. Period.
To say without evidence that it was an inside job.
I'm not saying it without evidence. I think that what we're seeing now is the video footage that's come out. I was in a different place before a lot of that evidence came out, but you have to respond to the evidence. What is your response, or what is anybody else on CNN's response to the video footage that was released of Capitol Police literally just peacefully allowing people into the Capitol?
What we know
or
is
shooting
that
into peaceful crowds.
850 people have been convicted of crimes.
But the reality is
850 people have been convicted of crimes. Well, there you have it. This is how the disinformation laundering works. This is how political persecution laundering works. Trumped up, bogus, bullshit charges in a partisan, corrupt, district venue. You get corrupt, absolutely unjust sentences, and then that closes the loop. Well, then it had to have been legitimate because the corruption, which led to the setup, which led to the malicious persecution, which led to the bias, what's the word I'm looking for? District. It's not district, but it led to the conviction. So it's all good. It loops itself off.
Them were convicted before that information was released. Because
do you think that?
By the way, and that's a very good point. Actually, hold on. Vivek just made the very.
Or shooting into peaceful crowds.
850 people have been convicted of crimes.
But the reality is, many of them were convicted before that information was released. Because
do you think that former President Trump has anything to do with this?
No, because you're bringing up a really good point, and your audience and everybody deserves to know the truth about this.
Absolutely.
Normally, there's a rule in constitutional law. It's called the Brady Rule. You have to turn over exculpatory evidence to the other side.
Look at Dana's face.
In this case, it wasn't turned over because the DOJ said Congress was sitting on.
Okay, moving on. Vivek made not only the truth bomb of truth bombs, but the good point. 850 people were convicted. I'm sorry. Did they have the video footage of the cops letting them in? Did they have access to the 44th? Were they coerced into making plea deals? It's unbelievable that people can be so stupid or dishonest. And you make the claim without evidence? Dana Bash, I suggest you go watch my interview with Tarek Johnson, former Capitol police officer, who testified. He didn't testify because apparently the January 6th committee was not interested in what evidence he would have to adduce. He explained to me how he knew it was an inside job setup, so to speak, because Yogananda Pittman had a memo which was circulated internally in December. We went over it in the interview, detailing the risk of a violent protest. The media was reporting on it. They were reporting on chatter of people talking about infiltrating the Capitol building. No evidence. No evidence. Hey, hold on. Here we go. What's this? This is from the New York Times. I'm not going to pull up the article. An FBI informant who was embedded for months in the inner circle of Stuart Rhodes, the leader of the Oath Keepers, is likely to testify at the seditious conspiracy trial of Rhodes. Intelligence was embedded for months in the Oath Keepers and the Proud Boys. They knew of this seditious conspiracy plot to overthrow the government. Alleged. I mean, I think it's all bullshit to begin with. But it doesn't make sense by their own evidence. We had infiltrated with informants. We knew of the seditious conspiracy. We got a conviction based on the informants who were embedded. FBI informants embedded with the two groups. And yet, we didn't know anything was going to happen on January 6th. And yet, we opened the doors and let them in. And there's video footage of it that was never disclosed to the public. And yet, the protesters, though there, were peaceful right up until the time the cops threw concussive grenades in, fired off rubber bullets, blasting people in the face, and then they got violent. That's called a setup, Dana. And what did they do with the events that ensued? They weaponized it to go after everyone and anyone who was there or in the orbit of DC. They used it to classify basically half of the country as domestic terrorists that need to be surveilled. What did they do with it? They used it as a pretext to go after Donald Trump on indictments. They used it as a pretext to try to get Trump off the ballot. It was a setup, Dana Bash. Vivek is right, and he's the only one saying it. And that is one hell of a truth bomb to drop there, and he deserves credit for it. Doesn't deserve accusations of being an Obama 2.0.